Listen closely. You can hear the death rattle. The economy is rotting. The putrid stench cannot be hidden any longer. And now the clear warning signs are becoming apparent to the mainstream. But you need not listen to this fearmonger. Everything is just fine. Go back to sleep, my little sheep. Well, you came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today, let's look at a few facts, beginning with this. Restaurant industry snapshot. We are looking at all these figures, and we can see big declines that have occurred. Traffic, sales, throughout quarter one, down significantly. You can see that with your own eyes. Ultimately, what we have is the general economy fading away. We can see that individuals are maxed out on the amount of debt that they have, and they continue to accumulate even more. Why? Because the banks know that if a person reaches their maximum, you just need to increase that. Just like the debt ceiling. It means absolutely nothing. The amount that individuals are allowed to get on their mortgage, it's basically done with the understanding or the assumption that housing prices will always increase, that wages will increase, and that prosperity will become ever present. Of course, we know that isn't the case. Restaurants, food service, and beverage places, you can see essentially what I'm trying to show you here is a declining trend. Is that everywhere? No. Are there certain restaurants and beverage places that are doing well? Absolutely. There are places that are doing better than they ever have. But it's the general theme. That's what's important. People think that, they just take the words that I say completely, and that's the way it is. That's set in stone. There's pockets there's parts of the economy that are doing amazing right now, and there could be a depression, and there are certain areas that are doing excellent. But you need to understand the general public. That's who I'm talking to, and that's what I'm talking about. Let's move on right here. Looking at this. I was amazed to read this one. During the financial crisis, the housing boom and bust, we saw vacancies escalate. I mean, there were millions of empty homes. Now, looking at the commercial side of things, the office market in Houston, can you believe this? Houston's overall vacancy rose to 20% in the first quarter of 2017. That is massive. There's one of two problems, but it's potentially both, and that is too many places being built, and number two, not enough demand. And I believe that it is both in this case, because they just get overzealous. They get overexcited and anxious. Let's build. Don't worry, you'll have some Chinese foreign buyers, or you'll have some really rich people who decide to buy it up and open up businesses, and they have all these ideas, and that's great. But ultimately, if you don't have those buyers on hand, you have a big problem. Look, 20%, you could say that, well, there was a little extra inventory, and that's why these places aren't selling. 20%, that's not the case. There's a problem. At 20%, there is a problem. Understand that. And Houston is only one of those places. General Motors inventory. The amount of cars that are sitting on the lot right now have escalated dramatically. General Motors is just one, but this presents a problem. Why? Big ticket items can't sell the way they once did. Does that mean, once again, you have to be so, explain yourself all the time here, but does that mean that people are not buying cars right now? Does that mean that General Motors is the only one that's having this issue? No and no. The general economy is suffering. Less big ticket items can be sold, yet at the same time, you have individuals that are doing better than ever. There are people buying, $100 million homes. There's a home being built in LA that they potentially will sell for $500 million. Somebody's doing well. The general economy, on the other hand, not the case. The gap in confidence between the younger and older Americans is at an all-time high. This is talking about, one of these that I really don't like, consumer confidence, but I wanted to show you two anyway. Take it with a grain of salt. When you can see that essentially they're showing this area here, a great division in between these two, the yellow line being under 35, green is over 55. And people, I would suggest overall, are feeling it right now. When you can see that millennials, they graduate from school, they still live with their parents, which is, nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to move out instead of living with your parents, then I see that presented as a problem. This right here shows you that overall, individuals are feeling it. And this is telling me that those over 55 are not doing so well. And it shows that the younger generation is doing well in terms of consumer confidence. I personally don't agree with that based on what I've seen. I think the general theme is a downward trend, and that has been ever apparent since the year 2000, but definitely reinforced after the financial crisis. I mean, look at all the fraud that was experienced just to get to the financial crisis. So much fraud was needed, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you about that. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. You can enjoy this right here just for a moment longer. Give you that nice picture before you go. I want to thank each and every one of you out there. All the comments, all the emails, all the support. Thank you very much. I'm sure you've been hearing what's happening with YouTube. Essentially, those who are creating YouTube videos, right now at this time, they're not making any money. But guess what? I've been doing even more videos, actually. I've been trying to do as many as I can. And it doesn't matter about the money. What I'm trying to do is trying to build an audience. I'm trying to get people who are interested in what I have to say. If you're still here at this time, especially after a silly picture like this, you can hear some of the inside information, and that is, quite frankly, when you have individuals in your inner circle that you speak to that they're simply just sheep looking for the slaughter, to put it politely, you go out and you try to find individuals that are like-minded. And ultimately, that is one of the reasons, probably the major reason, why I do so many YouTube videos. Essentially, when you have nobody to talk to about this kind of thing, you share it with somebody who will listen. So what I'm trying to say is, thank you for listening. If you found this video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS, and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. The first book is about the 4 asset classes, the history, the foundation, and then, of course, how to profit from all of that. It breaks down each chapter. There's different asset classes. And then the new book has a little different way of looking at things, familiar topics, of course. But then I get into the becoming self-sufficient, reducing your monthly expenses. And this one is a much more condensed book at just over 100 pages. But either way, you can take a look at both of these books at Amazon. They have a look inside feature that will allow you to flip through the pages of these books and see if you like them. Take care.